All right, guys, let's start the session. So, today our agenda is that first I will walk you through Azure, Azure console. Next, we will see one simple transformation by using PySpark. So, we can know how easy it is to run PySpark code. Okay. And then whatever we do transformation by using PySpark, right? Same thing we'll see in ADF. So you can understand what is difference between doing transformations in PySpark and doing transformations in Azure Data Factory. Okay. So for guys who has just joined today, so today is the second demo, guys. So yesterday we discussed the basics of Azure, uh, what is job of a data engineer, what is a data engineer does in a daily life, what is meaning of a transformation, etc. Today we are trying to do some hands-on exercise on a daily life, what a data engineer does, right, on Azure console. We are just trying to see those hands-on exercises. Okay, we will see these three things. Okay, let me open my Azure console. I hope you all are able to see my Azure console here. So to go into the Azure console, right, we have to go to portal.azure.com. Okay, go to portal.azure.com. So I'm on my main page here. Okay, in my main page, if you see here, there is a lot of options where I can use Azure services. Okay, now if you see here, this is my account, and if you see, there are a couple of options where to get a support from Microsoft. Okay, you see this option here where this simple icon. So if I want to run any command line, right, I can use the command line also directly from here. Okay, I can use the command line also directly from here, and whatever notifications happens, you can see this in the notification bar. So in the command line, there are basically, if somebody is comfortable with bash, they can run bash commands. Okay, switch to bash. So here I can run bash commands. Sorry, this is a PowerShell console. We can run PowerShell console here. You see, PS stands for PowerShell. But let's say I am comfortable running bash. So bash commands are basically commands that are Linux commands. PowerShell is basically a Windows. Okay. So whatever we want, we can switch the command shell, whether you're comfortable with bash or PowerShell, we can run that. Okay. Now you see here on the top left, there's something called as all services here. Now if I go here, so there are different categories on Azure. So if you want to use compute on Azure, you have a lot of options. For analytics, though, this is what will be majorly concerned with analytics, right? So you see here, there is a lot of services like Data Factory, okay, Apache Airflow, Data Analytics, Databricks, HD Insight Clusters, Data Explorer, Log Analytics Workspace, Azure Synapse. These are all services that we'll work with. Okay, but if a DevOps engineer is there, so he will be majorly working with these things, databases, different databases that Azure is offering. So whatever service that you require, right, you can come here and start using that particular service. Okay, so people who just join now, and if you're joining for the first day, to just to give a simple recap. So yesterday we understood a little bit about data engineering, what is the job of Azure data engineering, etc. Okay, I'll tell those things at the end of the session for you guys. So today what is our agenda is that we are trying to understand Azure console. So I want to show some hands on, okay, so that you guys will be much comfortable learning it. See, because a lot of people has an assumption that PySpark is difficult, it is coding very difficult. So I just want to simply run some simple code on PySpark and show it to you guys. Okay, and then same thing we can also do that on Azure without writing code by using ADF. So that means I'm going to take one problem statement, I'm going to solve that problem statement by using PySpark and by using Azure Data Factory. Then we can understand where we have to use Azure Data Factory and where we have to use PySpark. All right, guys. So that is what the agenda for today. Now, to work with PySpark, right? On Azure, we have something called as Azure Databricks. Okay, let me solve this. So Azure Databricks is a service that will help us to run all the PySpark code. So this Databricks is a separate company. Okay, so Databricks is a company that is partnered with Azure. So now what is the specialty of Databricks? Databricks can help users to run the PySpark without installing any dependencies. Like you don't need to install Python, you don't need to install Spark, you don't need to install Scala, etc., etc. So everything is covered by Databricks, but they need an infrastructure, right? So Databricks has partnered with Azure, and it is called as Azure Databricks. Now Databricks itself also offers cloud. We can also use that. Okay, now what I'm doing is that I'm creating some Databricks workspace. So now I'm going here, I'm choosing some resource group. Don't worry what is the resource group, we'll discuss that in the class. New workspace. Okay, this is a new workspace. Now I have choose the options like free trial for 14 days, and I created a resource group. So now let's say review and create. So now here what I'm creating, I'm creating a Databricks workspace. Why? I want to run some PySpark code to do some transformations to data. Okay, so on Azure, if you want to run a PySpark code, we have to create a Databricks workspace. That is what I'm creating. I'm creating a Databricks workspace here. So this might take about 30 to 50 seconds for the Databricks workspace to be created. So before that, let me show you what is the problem statement that I want to solve by using this Azure Databricks. Now let me open my OneNote. Let while it is creating. So I have this data. So I have this data. So this data is having what? It is a list of tuples. Okay. So this is having a date, and the product that you purchase is apple, and the quantity they purchase is 10 numbers. What is the cost of each product is 0.5. Okay, so this is the data I have. Let me put enter. Okay, so now first thing what I want to know, so this is column date, product, total quantity, and price. Now I want to know how much total money I earned on this apple. So total quantity that is sold is 10, right? So the formula would be 10 into 0.5. Now where I want to put that, I want to create another column, and I'll put total sales, and the output should come into that. So that means this column into this column, that should be the output in total sales column. Okay, that is one. Okay, that means I want to know how much is the total sales. And next I want to see which product I have sold maximum. If you look here, apple 1 2 3 4, 4 apples I have sold. Oranges 1 2 3 oranges. Bananas 1 2 3 bananas we have sold. So what I want to know, I want to see total quantity. So apples, how many quantity? 10, 7 17, 5 23, 9 31. So I want to see total how many apples I have sold and what is the cost for that. Total oranges, how many I have sold and how much is my revenue on that. How many bananas I have sold, how much is the revenue. And I want to see what is the top product that I have sold the most. Okay, so now let's say if you take a Flipkart, they'll have, right? So how many products I have sold, what is the cost of each product, and total how much revenue I have made, what is the maximum maximum number of products I have sold, which is the highest selling product, what is the revenue that I have generated on the highest selling product. So we have to generate those things from the data. So we will take this and we will use PySpark code and we'll generate that. So first of all, we have to create a new column with total sales and we have to multiply this into this. Okay, and then we have to do the aggregation and sorting. That is what we will achieve from this data. So let me see. Okay, now my Databricks is created. Let's go to the resource. Okay, you see there is something here, launch workspace. Let's go to launch workspace. So people who are not joined yesterday, after finishing this hands-on exercise, I'll just tell you what is the job of a data engineer. So we are actually doing a job of a data engineer. I'll explain you what is the job of a data engineer, etc. Okay, now you see here there is something called as new. Okay, and I can create something called as a notebook. Okay, I can do all my code in the notebook here. Okay, so it is a free trial. So you see that it is asking me to connect. I don't have any cluster, right? So if we have to uh, do some computing, I need some cluster. I don't have any cluster here. So first of all, let me create a cluster. You see create. Not here. You see there's an option called as compute here. Select option, create compute. Let's say personal compute. I'm just using the default options. So in the class when we learn, we'll understand about all these options. But to make sure to show this demo a little faster, I have selected all the default options here. Prinka, you have asked yesterday about how difficult PySpark would be, right? So you'll understand now how easy the PySpark coding will be, because it is not like a traditional development that we are doing for a Python developer. Okay, we are using libraries to call uh, the libraries and run the PySpark program. So now if here it is asking what is the name of the computer, what is the access mode that you want, what is the Databricks runtime version that you want to use, all default parameters for us to create a cluster. Okay, so I'm using creating all that cluster. So guys, before I go for while that is creating, I just want to ask you guys, are you guys able to follow, right? What I'm trying to do is that I'm taking some data. I want to show you guys in PySpark how to run transformations. That is the agenda for this particular hands-on demo that I'm showing it to you guys. Is that clear for everybody? Thank you, Salman. Others, can you just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are clear? Vishwa, Vipul, Shekhar, Salman. Thank you, Jay Kumar. Avinash, Pratimesh. So this cluster is taking a moment to be created. Let it create. So now this Databricks cluster is hosted on Azure. Okay, on our Databricks, Azure is giving Databricks as one service so that we can run a PySpark code. Okay, but we can also run. Google has something called as Colab. So whatever we run on the Colab, we can run on the PySpark cluster also. So in our class, we'll majorly use Colab to do all the hands-on exercises, because it is very easy to launch and very easy to start. Let me show you guys. Okay, to start Colab, right? In our class, we'll do all our PySpark hands-on exercises here. Okay, this cluster is creating. Let me run this. Okay, let's say this is my Google Colab. So Colab is an IDE. It's a web IDE by Google to run our Python code. So now I have copied some code installing PySpark packages. So this will take about 10 seconds or 15 seconds, and it will be ready for us to run the PySpark code. So whatever we can achieve on the Databricks, I mean, not whatever, if the PySpark code that we can run on the Databricks, we can also run by using Google Colab. Okay, so so whatever code that we'll be writing here, right? every day I will share this notebook with you guys. So whatever code that we have developed in the class, you'll be able to see that in the notebook. Okay, this is going to take a little more time. So normally Azure is provisioning the cluster, and why it is taking time? Because it has to install Apache Spark, it has to install Python, it has to install a couple of other things. So we can also see this UI once this thing comes up. You see, this is the root user. So what all the jobs are there, stages. I'll show this once we run some. So now you see my cluster is up. Now let me go to workspace, go to notebook, connect. You see my cluster is displayed here. I can run the cluster. Okay. So now similarly this also has run. Now I have the data, right? Let me put the data here. I'll run in both Colab and here. So now basically this is a data structure on Python. This is what a list of tuples. List means it will be there in square brackets. Tuple means it will be there in parentheses. So this is one tuple, this is one tuple, this is one tuple. Every row is one tuple. So these tuples are there in the list, right? So this is basically called as list of tuples. Now if I go here, I can run same thing in the Databricks. Run, and if you see here, this is Python. If I want to change, I can run the code in Python, SQL, Scala or R. So whichever language you're comfortable with, you can run. You see the default notebook language is Python. If I want to change, I can change it to SQL. Okay, let's say Python. So next cell I'm going to create. If I want, I can change it to SQL. You see it is SQL here. Okay, but by default all the cells in this would be Python. Now you see this is also coming up with AI now. So now with this AI, if I type something, right, we'll give the code. We will see that later. Okay. So now I also want to give this column names, right? So let's say for me this is one column, this is one column, this is one column, this is one column. So now in this there is no columns. So I want to give a name to these columns. Let's say first column name is date, second column name is product, third column name is quantity, fourth column name is price. So I will declare that in another list. So here I am saying that the first column is date, the second column is product, quantity and price. Now I have to combine these two things, right? So if you, let's say if you want to store data in your laptop, you either store it in a notepad, you store it in a Word document, PowerPoint, etc., etc. Right? If I want to store data in PySpark, there are two data structures. One is called as RDD, second is called as data frames. So now I have to create a data frame to store this data on PySpark. Now how to create a data frame? So let's say this is sales data, right? I will give the name of my data frame as sales underscore df, that is sales data frame. And what should be there in this? I'm saying spark dot create data frame. So what is my data? Where do I take data from? Take the data from this list of tuples. So that is the data. And what is the schema? That means what is the name of the columns? It is columns. Okay, now let me run this. So now what happened? I am successfully able to store the data in data frame. So now this is PySpark code. Now is it any difficult? So now I should know this syntax. Okay, I should know a syntax. Spark dot create data frame will actually create a data frame. Okay, now let's say I want to see whether what is the schema that is created or not. Then what is my data frame name? It is sales.df. Copy sales.df dot print schema. You see it is giving me suggestions. Okay, it is not that difficult to code with the IDs because they'll give me suggestions. So now it is saying that date is string, product is string, quantity is long, price is double. These are the data types it automatically took. Okay, so now I want to see the data frame. If I want to see the data frame, I can use a syntax. That means so data frame is nothing like a table. Okay, with this data I have created a table. Like in SQL we have table, right? It is nothing but a table. So if I want to see sales underscore df dot show and run this. If I run the sales underscore df dot show, it is basically showing me the table. So this table has columns date, product, quantity and price. So now I want to do operations on this table. What is the first operation? I want to know what is the total amount that I have earned on apples. Okay, what is the total amount I have earned on banana? What is the total amount I have earned on apple and oranges? So now total quantity, how many quantities I have sold? On this particular date, first date, I have sold 10 apples. On the second date, I have sold 7 apples. On the third date, I have sold, let's say, 5 apples. And each apple cost is 0.5. Now, how much I made on this total apples? I have to multiply this quantity into price. Now, it is very, very simple on PySpark. Let us see how to do that. First of all, I need to know if I have to run any operation on column, right? I need to import a library called as call. I have to import a library called as call. You see here it is already giving me a suggestion. You import a library called as call. Now on which data frame I have to run the transformations on this sales df. So I will say sales df is equal to sales underscore data frame dot with column. So now you need to know this keyword or this package with column, what it will do, it will create a new column for us on this PySpark. So with column transformation, we call it as a transformation. With column transformation will create a new column. So now what should be the name of the new column? If I'm creating a new column, I should give a name, right? Let's say I'm giving my new column name as total sale. Now what should be there in this total sale? I want the column. What is our column name here? Quantity, right? Quantity. Column quantity into column price. Okay. Now I'll give this name as sales df1. Now I want to see sales underscore df1 dot show. Let me see. Quantity is not defined. Okay, it should be there inside quotations. Now you see there's a new column that is created and it is giving me the output. So this is what, this is also one data transformation. That means I want to get some insights from the data. Okay, do you think it is so? What you have to know here, so you have to know that with column will help us to create new columns. So if you don't so is this a difficult Python coding, guys? You guys can ping in the chat. Priyanka, Praveen, Avinash, Jay Kumar, Salman, Shekhar, Vishwa. You guys can unmute your mic and speak as well. You guys can unmute and speak.
Yeah, Satish, nothing but I think so. The basics we should know that
Yeah,
first
correct.
of all. So if we
Yes,
know
right.
that, no, we can make it.
Yes. So because it is not like a developer writing a Python code, right? It is like a data engineer using the Python packages
Hmm.
to extract the insights from the data. So now, if you do, so that is what I say. Most of the people ask me, PySpark is very difficult, but PySpark is very easy because you're not actually developing some applications with Python. You're using some library. So if you don't know how to work with call here, you'll not be able to run this code. So PySpark is very easy, provided you know all the basics. Okay, so this is one operation. Guys,
Okay.
others, are you guys able to follow me? Salman, thank you. Pratimesh, thank you. Salman, thank you. Vishwa. Okay, so in our class, right, we will take, so first we will teach all the basics on PySpark, do a lot of hands-on exercises on operations and this thing, and then we will take some use cases. Okay, this is a logs that I got from couple of servers. Now out of these logs, tell me how many servers are up more than for 1 minute in a day. Sorry, down for 1 minute in a day. That means I'm calculating like what are the servers that are frequently going down so that I can replace that. That is one use case. So there are a lot of other use cases that will collect data from different sources, and we will generate a lot of Python code, and then we will do that. Okay, so that is how the PySpark code can be generated. So there are so it's already like about, we finished about 32 minutes. I want to show Azure same thing how I can do in Azure Data Factory. Now I showed this on PySpark, right? Can I do this on Azure Data Factory? That is also ADF tool. So that is also a transformation tool. Same thing, whatever I achieved in PySpark by writing code, right? Without writing even one line of code, same thing we can achieve. Now let's see how to do that on Azure Data Factory. Now Azure Data Factory. So here basically there is something called as data factories. I'm going here. See, I already created a data factory because it will take some time to create, right? So I already created a data factory. So I'll say launch studio. Okay, I'll say launch studio. So now Azure Data Factory console, right? It comes with a lot of options. Now, if you see the main console, there's something like ingest, orchestrate, transform data, work with SSIS. Okay, now, so I told yesterday, data engineer job is like creating data pipelines. By using ingest, you can do data pipelines. Doing data transformations by using transform data, we can do data transformations. Okay, now what I did on Azure, there is something called as storage accounts where we can store the data. I already created one storage account, and I already put the data that I have showed to you guys. I will show that again. So you see there is containers here, something called as demo. Now so the same data that I used in Databricks, I have put that here also. If you see here, this is the data. Same data, whatever it is there. Now let's try and achieve the same thing what we achieved in Databricks by using PySpark. Let us achieve the same thing by using Azure Data Factory here without writing a code. There PySpark we are writing code, ADF there is no need for us to write any code. Okay, this is the same file. Now here you see there is something called as author. Okay, in author there is something called as pipelines. Now I'll delete the pipeline which is already there. Okay, let me go ahead and create a new pipeline. So this Azure Data Factory is all drag and drop tool. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to do some transformations, right? If you want to do data ingestion, we can do copy activity, but I want to do data transformation, so I have to use something called as data flow. Okay, in this data flow, go to settings. You see data flow, create a new data flow. Now here it is asking, give me a data source. I will add the source. I already created a source here. No, it is not created. Let me create that one. So you see data set, I have to give the data set, right? So select option new. It is there in blob storage, continue. So don't worry about this. Understand that I'm just giving the data to the ADF. How to create all these things we will see in detail in the class. Okay, my data is there in blob storage. What is blob storage also we will see in the class. So you can consider as of now blob storage means a service on Azure which will help us to store any kind of data. Very simple. So because the data is there in blob storage, I'm giving it to the Azure Data Factory. Now if you see, it is showing that there are 4 columns. Now if I go to data preview, right here we can see the data in live. Okay, we have, if you see, it is fetching the data. How many columns it has? It has 4 columns. One column is date, product, quantity, and price. Okay, now if you see source settings, source options, projections, you see all the data type is string only. But if I want to do some multiplication, right, with the string will work, it will not work. So let me change the data type here. So data type, for the quantity, I'm changing it as a integer. But if you look into the price, right, you see here price, it is there in decimal values, right? So I will put this as float. I'll put it as float. Okay, so that means data types just like that we are able to change. But if it is in Python or any other language, we have to write some code to change the data types. In PySpark, we have to use something called as cast, okay, to change the data type. But here, simple drag and drop, I'm able to change the data type. Let me go to data preview. It is there. Now you see there's an option called as plus here. Click on the plus button. Now I have to create a new column, right? So there are a lot of options here. In the actual course, we'll cover all the options. So there is something called as derived column. That means create a new column. So how should I create a new column? You see this select column. From which column I have to create? I have to create a new column, right? I'll give the column name as, let's say, total sales. Okay. Now I have to tell what should be there in this total column. So that one, Azure Data Factory gives something called as expression builder. Let me go to expression builder now. So what is my column name? Total sales, right? What should be there in this? Quantity. What operation I have to run? Into price. Okay, this is what I have to do, right? Quantity into price. Now refresh. I'll be able to see here only all the data. Live only I'll be able to see the transformations that it is making. So you see here, it is saying in the total sales, this will be the output. Now let's say save and finish. Now if I go, if you see here, in the derived column, there is five total. If I see, go to data preview and refresh. You see, I got a new column and it is showing me what is the total price for this, what is the total price, etc. etc. We are able to do the transformations here. Then if you want to aggregate, see, let's say, go here, there is something called as aggregate. On which column I have to group by, on which, what product I have to aggregate, I can see all these things. So basically the point that I want to make is, same thing whatever we achieved in PySpark, okay, I can also achieve here without writing code. Here did we write any code? We did not write any code, right? But same thing whatever I achieved in PySpark, I'm also able to achieve here. Isn't this cool? So for people who don't want to, so again, when should I use ADF? When should I use PySpark? So PySpark, we can have much control, much variation on how we want to, how we want to see the output, how we want to derive the output, etc. etc. But ADF, we can only use the options that is given by ADF. We'll not be able to use uh, for complex operations. Okay, but for complex operations, if you want to use, we can use for all the complex operations, we can use Databricks. For simple operations, we can use ADF. Is that clear, guys? Now you got an understanding about Databricks and Azure Data Factory. I'm not able to show, so we'll see a lot of hands-on exercises. This is just a glimpse of what we're going to learn. Anybody, I'll just give a moment. Anybody, any questions, you can ask me now. If you guys understand, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. It will help me to align. Thank you, Salman. Thank you, Avinash. Thank you, Shekhar. Vishwa, Priyanka. I know, Priyanka, you already know about Azure Data Factory. Ashish, Jaykumar, Avinash, you guys have any questions? Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Jaykumar. Okay, now, Vishwa, you are joining for today for the first time, right? Today's class. Avinash, you have raised your hand. I have unmuted you. You can open your mic and speak if you want to speak.
Just one question, Satish.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Go ahead.
So, where do we collaborate with Python in Azure Data Engineer? Like,
So now here in Databricks, I written a code, right? So this is
yes.
PySpark. You see, so I'm writing the code in Python to work with Spark. So this is nothing but a PySpark code. So now, if you want to know this, first of all, so if we have to come till here, first of all, what did I do? This is a list. This is a list. I created a data frame. This list. This syntax you should know. This is only Python. So
Okay.
that is what I tell all the students. Like Python for data engineering is not like writing Python for web development. Okay, this
Okay.
is like a syntax. So this is 3 lines code. This is how many max 3 lines code now, right? So is it any different? So what? But we need to know the basics. We need to know. Okay, if I have to work with the column, how to use with column. If I have to import, I have to impose column, etc. So this is what Python that we'll use. And obviously, we also use Python in Airflow, right? So there you have to write the DAGs. So what is a DAG? We'll look in actual class. So DAG is like series of tasks plus dependencies. I give one task, I'll tell this is the dependencies if you have to write the task, run the task. Task two like that. So that there also we use
Okay.
Python.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, great. If you see on the screen now, so as I was telling yesterday, we teach, and yesterday I have actually showed a couple of job descriptions to everybody. So a lot of job descriptions, they're asking PySpark, couple of them asking Snowflake, couple of them are asking for Apache Airflow, couple of them asking for Azure DevOps. And in this course, we also cover Logic Apps. Logic Apps is like a similar tool like Airflow, but it is Azure specific. So a lot of companies use Airflow because it is free. Logic Apps is Azure specific, and I feel it is little overcharged. Okay, but still companies use Logic Apps as a workflow because they have a lot of options, inbuilt connectors, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay, so now these are some of the projects that we will see in the class. So if I have to show you guys, um, so this is one project we will do end-to-end implementation where we'll get the data, we'll use Azure Data Factory and do some transformation, store in a data lake, and data which is there in data lake will be source for Databricks, and we will run a notebook automatically, and we'll put the data in another different data lake storage. That will be the source for data warehouse. There we create silver table, bronze table, gold table, and then it will be source for Power BI. Okay, this is one project. There is another end-to-end project which is a Mandolin architecture on Databricks. So this is what another end-to-end project, and there are a couple of other projects that we would be seeing, end-to-end projects that we'd be seeing. Like this is one project, this is one project. Okay, similar projects. That means basically getting the data, doing transformations, and generating insights and connecting that to Power BI. That is basic job of a data engineer, right? So we'll see three real-time projects. So you will get as good experience as a person who is having 4 years experience in data engineering. Okay, now because for PySpark we need Python, so we'll start with basic Python stuff, and then we'll write some practical examples with Python. So these are all things on PySpark we would cover with a lot of hands-on exercises, and we will see a couple of projects also on PySpark. Okay, and on Databricks, we'll also see something called as you see here on Databricks, there is something called as Delta Live Tables. Now, once you take this course, right, on Databricks, there's a certification called as Data Engineer, Databricks Certified Data Engineer. So that content is also covered under this actually, because we cover Mandolin architecture, we cover Delta Live Tables, how to ingest the data, how to run the jobs. Here also we can schedule the jobs. Okay, create a job and schedule the job. We can create Delta Live Tables. We can write the queries. So we'll create workflows. Okay, so a lot of stuff we will learn on the Databricks as well. So this program actually, you can also take the certification from Databricks. That certification name is Databricks Certified Data Engineer. Okay, so we cover most of the content related to that as well. Okay, and we will teach data warehouse for people who are not yesterday. I'm just going through that. So on Azure data warehouse name is called as Synapse, and we also have another data warehouse which is called as Snowflake, which is very widely used. On data, on if you ask me on Synapse what level you cover, we cover at an expert level. So you can also apply for a data architect jobs. Okay, a person who is having 10 to 15 years experience after finishing Synapse with us, you can definitely apply for data architect jobs where there are huge openings. Okay, I can open some company websites and show you guys if you want now. And then we cover Apache Airflow and then Snowflake. And then, as I was showing some job descriptions yesterday, which covered CI/CD pipelines, right? We covered that as well, and we cover real-time projects. These are all the hands-on exercise that we'll be doing in Azure Data Factory that I showed you now. Okay, and we have placement support as well. Okay, that will be the complete course. This course is for 100 hours, where we cover end-to-end. Now, if you see, let me go to a company called as Tiger Analytics. Now, if you go here, go to careers. Okay, there is no careers now here. Okay, I think they have changed this. Now, if you go to careers here, there are a lot of openings in this company as of now for data architects. So, is there any careers here? Okay, current openings, India. You see, data integration, data engineer. See, architect, data engineer, PySpark developer. You can apply for these jobs also. Okay, I mean, if you go through, there are a lot of jobs on Synapse. Synapse architect. You see Databricks. See Databricks. Data engineer ADF. Senior data engineer ADF. So I'm just showing this company itself has, you see, data modeling principal architect. This is what I was saying. For data architect, there are roles. Architect data modeling. So this is what a data architect. Okay. So there are a lot of jobs for senior roles as well, where the salaries are really huge. Okay. So you'll be able to apply a lot of job roles once you finish this course with us. Okay. And yesterday, a couple of people who didn't attend today, I have showed you our job website, which will actually help you to create prepare you for interviews with the help of our AI mock interviews, where AI tool will take automatic mock interviews. We will send those simple video how our AI will help you with the mock interviews. We'll send you in WhatsApp. People who have not seen that, you can see that. All right. So that's all I have for today's session, guys. You guys have any questions? So I just wanted to show you guys how make you guys feel of how PySpark code will look like, how to do transformations on ADF. Okay. You guys have any questions? I'll be happy to answer. So as I told you, our interview assistant tool will be only for top 5 enrollments, first come first serve. So 3 months we're going to give that free, which is approximately a cost of five thousand bucks. So our consultant Sri Lakshmi will get in touch with you. I request you guys to make an enrollment, and I will see you guys on the classes starting from Monday at 9 o'clock. It'll be an exciting journey. Your career transition into data engineering, which is a domain which is highly paid now. If you know, in IT industry, there is only three job designations which are highly paid. One is Gen AI, second is data engineer, and the third one is data ops. And this program also cover a lot of data ops concepts as well. That means data ops means data engineering plus CI/CD DevOps pipeline. So we are actually covering that as well. You guys can apply for data ops jobs as well. You can go ahead and check in the LinkedIn. A lot of openings and less competition on that, because there are very few people who can work on data as well as operations. All right. Any questions? Anybody? Ashish? Yeah, Salman, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, Satish, I have two questions here. One is, what is the difference between PySpark and the Spark Apache Spark?
Okay. Apache Spark is an engine. Let's say you have a car, you have a Hyundai car. Let's say if you want to run the Hyundai car, you can either use petrol if it is a petrol car. If it is a diesel car, you can use a diesel car. If it is an electric car, you can use an electric car, right? So these three are the fuel for your car to run. The car is same. Apache Spark, Apache is the name of a foundation that has developed Spark there. Now, if I want to run the Spark, I can use Python, or I can use R, or I can use SQL. So Spark is the engine which will help us to process my data. Understood,
Yeah,
Salman?
yeah, yeah, got it. And another question is regarding the Power BI. Are we learning about the Power BI
Now, in
also?
this course, we will not go in detail about Power BI. The scope of Power BI in this course will be like, once we have data in the Synapse or in the Databricks, we will connect that data to the Power BI for a visualization team to generate reports from that. That is the scope of Power BI in this course. It is not like a full Power BI course.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Ashish, you want to ask a question? Ashish, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Your mic is on. Okay, Salman, I saw you have unmuted. You have a follow-up question.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Yeah, Ashish, go ahead. In case if you're speaking, your voice is not audible. Avinash, Jaykumar, Pratimesh, Priyanka, Shekhar, Vishwa, Mahesh, I think you have just joined. So Mahesh, we actually finished the session, Mahesh. If you have any questions on data engineering, I can answer that questions, Mahesh.
Okay, sorry, I joined late.
No problem. So we'll send you this recording. So basically, Mahesh, what I did in this session is we
Okay,
basically understood uh, how to use PySpark code and create, how to use PySpark and Databricks and do some data transformations. And the same thing, how to use Azure Data Factory and do the data transformations. So yesterday we
okay,
did a first session, understood about data engineering, the task of a data engineer, what does a data engineer does in his daily life. Today we
okay,
just tried put that into practice and showed a couple of hands-on exercises.
okay,
We'll
sure.
send we'll send both the recordings to you, yesterday's and today's. I request you to look into that, and maybe we also
Okay,
have another demo on Friday and Saturday. You can also join those
okay,
sessions, because actual classes would start from Monday, so you can make a
okay,
decision and start your journey on data engineering from Monday.
okay, sure, sure. It's from 8 to 9 every day, or how is it?
It will be from 9 o'clock to 10:30.
9 to
Only the
10.
demos are at 8 to 9.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it will
Because
be
I
2
was
hours session.
asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You ask me a question.
Yeah, actually, I was asking for at around 6 o'clock to 7:30 or
No, we don't have a
8.
class at 6 o'clock. We have another class in the morning, 8 o'clock.
Morning 8 o'clock. Huh? Okay.
Yes. And we also have in the weekends, weekends timing would be 3 hours, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning, and 7
Okay.
o'clock to 11 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. This morning 8 o'clock classes from 8 to 9:30 or what time it is?
Yes, 8 to 9:30, correct.
Okay.
But that would start from the first week of December. So we are about to finish a couple of batches. That will start from the
Okay.
first week of December.
First week of December. Okay.
Correct. Yes, Avinash, you can unmute yourself and speak. You have raised your hand.
Satish, just one question. Like,
Yeah.
I'm already working as a Power BI developer, okay,
Hmm.
in one
Hmm.
of the firm. So I just like to switch in data, Azure Data Engineer, okay.
Okay.
So I correlate Power BI with Azure Data Engineer to go for a switch. So my main purpose is to join a class. Like I want to go for a switch with the help of both the technologies, like Power BI plus Azure Data Engineer.
Yeah. See, that is
You
the if when I showed you a project, if you see in this
mm,
project, so the end result, a data analyst will actually visualize the data in Power BI. So 100% whatever knowledge that you have on Power BI is an added advantage for you. So a lot of startup companies they don't hire separate data analysts. Data engineer only has to do the job. So it is a very good decision for you to switch in data engineering. To be honest enough, rather than data analyst, data engineers salaries are higher and lot of opportunities for data engineers when you compare with data analysts, because most of the companies they hire a person 1 or 2 years experience as a data analyst and the salary is also on par with their salary, but data engineer salaries is much higher. Okay.
okay? Once I finish this course, I'm able to represent my experience. I have almost 3 years of experience now.
You can definitely represent. So we'll tell you how, because you will do the projects in the class, right? Then you'll get an understanding how you can represent your experience. We'll also help you in your LinkedIn profile optimization.
Okay, okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, you can lower your hand, Avinash. Okay, any other questions? Prathimesh, Priyanka, Shekhar, Vishwa, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, nothing from my side, Satish. I'll be meeting you on Monday itself.
Okay, thank you,
Hope so.
Priyanka.
Good sessions will be going on ahead. Yeah.
Definitely. 100% you will have a very good learning experience on Azure Data Engineering. I promise you that. All right. See you guys on Monday. My pleasure speaking to you guys. You guys have a good time. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. Bye.
Thank you, Satish.
Thank you.